if the two others are not assigned to the board?
Let me ask that when I'm not
Okay.
trying to think about the meeting. Hold on, Christina's saying she can't hear anything.
Her mic is muted. You are
Can't
muted.
hear
Oh,
anything.
can you hear us now?
Oh, my mic was off.
Okay.
Hi. So welcome to April 19th, 2023 Select Board and Sewer Commissioners meeting. This meeting is held in hybrid settings. 19th, yeah, April 19th. All members present with the exception of Patrick Crawley. Roll call. Mark?
What do we roll? Here?
Yep.
Here.
Chris?
Yes.
Me, yes. And Christina?
Yes.
Okay. I call the meeting to order. Please stand up for this Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Is that the cue?
Next item on the agenda, appointment and resignation. Consider approving the hiring of Police Officer Michael St. Martin as recommended by the Chief Dennis Minich, effective April 1, 2023. Chief?
Good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Should the chief identify himself?
Yeah. For the record, please identify
They
and
call me Superman?
you,
Dennis,
if you want to say a few words about
Dennis Minnick and
Michael St. Martin.
Michael St. Martin, and basically the background is that Sergeant Papandrea, put in his resignation, and we're not adding anybody, he's filling his position, and I already came to the board before to have Tim Benson promoted to sergeant, so he will be taking the open position from Sergeant Papandrea. And the only thing I will say is that we have at least two more, probably three more in the next year leaving. So that isn't about this tonight, but I just want to present him, and you can, tell him a little about yourself.
would you like to say a few words?
Yes, my name is Michael St. Martin. Grew up in Worcester, Mass. So I'm familiar with the West Boylston area. Growing up, it's always been a prestigious town as far as I'm concerned, so I'm honored to be considered for this position. I went to UMass Dartmouth, graduated in 2013, and then I worked at Middlesex Sheriff's Office for 6 years, so I have a little bit of a law enforcement background. I'm currently in the Police Academy, which graduates next Thursday, the 27th. I'm the president.
Well, I mean, we're just saying that, I mean.
And with aspirations of starting here May 1st.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do we need a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a motion and second. Is there any further discussion or any questions for either for our chief?
No, I mean,
officer.
we've, I mean, he's gone through the peace officers' standard training, so he has like about 60 pages of background on him. I don't know if his fiance knows that. She's back there with his parents, but it's a rigid background. So, I know what he puts on his credit card and some odd things we got to talk about. But I mean, no, I'm very excited. But our whole department is going through pretty big change. You know, Tony Papandreou's the senior sergeant. He's out May 1st. He's coming in. I hope he stays.
I have all intentions of staying here for my full career.
Hopefully you'll like West Boylston. No-
Yeah,
no-
well, I'll be leaving, so
Besides the chief.
probably,
That's,
Okay, I got a motion.
I'm not-
not a lot of negatives, right? Yeah, let's just keep this nice.
Yep. Thank you, Chief.
Chairman,
We have, go ahead.
I just would like to formally welcome you to the community of West Boylston, and we look forward to your service.
Thank you very much.
So we have Christina on the online.
I would say hi, one day I'll meet you in person. Sorry, I'm at a military base right now with my son. Hi, Dennis.
Hey, I thought I was hearing voices.
Again.
Again, yeah.
Chief, can you disclose our location? Anyway,
Okay, do we have a motion and a second? Roll call?
we have a motion and second. Roll call. Christina?
Yes?
Chris?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes.
Myself, aye. And thank you, congratulations, welcome to West Boylston.
Thank you very much.
So we have one more item with the chief, I guess.
Oh, really?
Consider appointment of Sergeant Timothy Benson as the records access officer for the police department.
So
Yes,
moved.
please.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Christina?
Yes?
Chris?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Myself, yes. So motion carries.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Can we just do a picture before they head out?
Sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So turn it around so Christina can be in the picture.
Only for the people in the.
You want to come up for a quick picture?
course.
I mean, he's actually in the academy, like, this moment.
So he's got a class
He's got a class tonight. Yeah. So that's.
No, go get in too.
Oh, yeah, the guys.
Thank you very much.
Cheese.
I got it. Can we have his family come up and do a picture?
Yeah, that'd be great, yeah. Actually, your parents, so.
You just did the background.
Family,
You want us?
whatever they want. Doesn't matter. We can do some.
Congratulations. There you go.
Yeah, this is a pre-suspension.
He's already suspended.
Yeah, he's suspended
We'll get
already.
these to you.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. You won't see the chief much.
No. Thanks, Chief. First time I met.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you again.
See you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Going back to the range.
Mike, what is it good?
Yes.
Range, yeah.
Shooting.
It's a gift, my cousin.
Oh, yes, I'm good friends. You want to get any?
No.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
See you.
Makes it look too short. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Be
Thank
safe.
you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, public comments. Is there any public comments? Hearing none, let's move on. Approval of meeting minutes, March 1st, 2023, regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved?
Yeah. Motion? Is there a second?
Second.
We have motion and second. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Oh, he was waiting for that.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
In the discussion of local initiative program proposal, Crescent Builders LLC, 73 West Boylston. I would like to add in that the letter we signed does not restrict them in possibly offering lower cost housing. It's in the video, timestamp 15678, somewhere in there, if you want to see the language that who's the guy from them? Dean Harrison.
Dean Harrison.
What he said. But it was sort of a discussion between me and him. I said, I'm worried about the letter restricting you only to the 10%. And he said, it will not limit us, and we'll be able to give whatever we can get. So I'd like that added to there, but I don't know exactly which to add.
So, Mr. Chairman, you could
one
approve
more thing.
the minutes subject to the addition, or we could table them for the
As
next meeting.
amended, we can make it as
Yep,
amended.
yep.
Yeah.
There was one more thing. On the next section, consider terminating municipal agreement. Oh, boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th line. The second to last word, it says, Mr. Ruccio stated, staying with Sutton will average out to be less than if they join the Alliance for Nursing Services rather than less that.
So are you going to amend your motion?
I'll amend the motion with the changes.
Second,
Okay.
amended
Yeah.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call. Christina? Chris?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Myself, aye. So motion carries. March 1, 2023, executive session meeting minutes not for release. Is there a motion?
So moved?
Second.
We have motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Did we get copies of these to look at?
Electronically,
We did?
electronically today, yep.
Oh, today?
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
Do you want to put them off till another meeting?
So you want to table it?
Can we?
Not for release, so.
But you can,
But I didn't even. I
you can
didn't
table them.
think I got them.
So
Does that screw anything up?
I withdraw my motion.
okay.
Second.
Okay. All right, so done.
So then for the roll call for withdrawing the motions. Christina?
Yes.
Chris?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes.
Myself as. So let's table the March 2023 executive session meeting minutes as well as March 6, 2023 executive session meeting minutes.
So March 1st and March 6th.
March 1st and March 6th, we are going to table it.
That's right.
So the next item is review and vote to approve warrants for the period covering April 5th, 2023 through April 19, 2023. Town payable warrants FY 2023-41, FY 2023-42. Payroll warrants FY 2023-21, school warrants FY 2023-S18 and FY 2023-S19 and MLP FY 2023 number 22, sorry. Is there a motion?
So moved?
We have a motion,
Second.
we have a second. All in favor to approve this town warrants? I'm sorry, I need to call in a roll call. Christina?
Aye.
Chris?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Myself as. Motion carries. 6:05, it's more than 6:05. Continued public hearing for the April 5th, 2023. To consider creating a policy related to the use of reservoir triangle for the food truck, such policy to include a fee. So this is a continued policy, we don't have to read that.
Okay.
Yeah, you read the motion.
Public
The
hearing?
public hearing notice.
I would read the public hearing notice. We renoticed it as a continued
Okay.
public hearing, yep.
Go ahead, Mark.
Public notice is hereby given in conformity with the requirements of the general bylaws of the town of West Boylston. Article 23, public hearing and notice that the Select Board will meet on Wednesday, April 19th, 2023 at 6:05. for the purpose of considering creating a policy relative to the use of the Reservoir Triangle for food trucks, such policy to include a fee. The meeting will be held in the Select Board Meeting Room, number 210, 140 Worcester Street, West Boylston, Mass. For additional information or review, proposed changes, please contact Town Administrator, 774-261-4012. All persons, groups, agencies invited to attend through Zoom, and if you're here, boom, you're on Zoom.
At this time, I will ask the town administrator to go over the policy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you, as the board is aware, prior to this year, there was an RFP process for the use of Reservoir Triangle. The board did vote to grant extension of the 2 licenses for the folks who were vendors last year, and they have began so that they could begin their season. So they have been both set up at various times. In creating this policy, I basically took a lot of the RFP that had been drafted and put it into policy. The policy is for up to 2 licenses for mobile food trucks at the Reservoir Triangle location at Beaman and Fletcher Streets from April 1st through November 30th of each year. The policy does allow for a preference for vendors who have previously held a license at the site. If there are not returning vendors, then it's open to qualified new applicants, and there's a definition of what makes a new applicant qualified. I selected the fee of $2,500 for the license season, and I'm happy to answer any other questions that the board may have about the policy.
So there is no change in the amount of time they can open, or period of the month they can open?
So under the previous agreements, the vendors were required to be at the site during a certain period. The vendors both gave feedback that that was extremely limiting to them, that there were times that they wanted to go do other events. So it does not require the vendors to be at the site. They are allowed to use the site between April 1st and November 30th between 11 a.m. and dusk.
Okay, you have questions?
I have all sorts of questions and comments.
Okay.
All right, so, I did a marked up thing, I sent it to you so you can use that for whatever you want to do. But I suggested making it the agreement to be a year-long thing, and I picked arbitrarily January 15th to January 15th, so that it would be a year policy rather than only the license season. And that's that's treated in terms and condition number 7. So I marked up number 7 pretty good. It says vendor operation period, so I made it an operation period, shall be from April 1st through November 30th of each year. That's license season for the hours of 11 to dusk. So that's when they are supposed to be there by what we've been doing. And then I added to that, operation outside of the operation period is allowed. Vendors must notify town administrator and Board of Health, I just put that in there, of any plans for opening days outside of operation period 1 week before and before the opening of each day. The town has the right to prohibit operating outside of operation period for causes like conflicts with site work or other events. So that would alleviate the problem we had of them wanting to be there a week early or something like that. It would just allow that to be there, but they have to tell us about those plans. And we can tell them no, because for whatever reason, we're working on the site or something, there's no site to be at. The other one was, I forgot to put
If
in.
I could just on that one, you're talking about number 7?
No.
So, you're saying that they need to tell us a week in advance?
They need to say they're planning a week in advance, so if they don't come, it's okay.
But if they're out, first of all, number 7 says, vendor period shall be from April 1st through November 30th of each year from the hours of 11 a.m. to dusk. That makes it sound like that's when they have to be there.
No, that's when they're allowed to use the site.
Okay, but when you read that sentence, I think it shall be from April 1st through the 30th from 11 a.m. to dusk.
So the previous RFP had specific language that required them to be there from Wednesdays to Sundays, I believe. That language was omitted. I think what Mr. Frieden's saying is allowing periods of use outside of that April 1st to November 30th period.
That would be considered the operation period when they're entitled to be there without telling us that they're gonna be there or not be there.
The week in advance, I mean, if in March, on Tuesday, they find out the weekend's gonna be warm,
Yeah.
it's not a week notice, so I don't know why don't we
We
just
can
give
change
them,
it to a
why don't
week.
we just give them the time and they can open when they want?
Well, the only reason I said to tell us is so that we know they're operating there, for one thing, like we just know that something's going on and nothing's going on. So they would just tell us that they're there. And the other one was to give us some prior notice, just in case there was some reason they shouldn't go there. You know, just if they called even a couple days in advance and we said, well, we're digging the place up or whatever, you know, I don't know what we were doing. But it would just give us an opportunity to tell them, oh, well, in fact, there's something precluding you from being there, so please don't make the plans. You know?
I just wanna keep it kind of as easy as possible.
It's
for 'em.
easy, but the reason I think, he's saying is, suppose if he wants to open up in March, so he
I think-
cannot open up now.
No, I think that it should be just expanded, but they don't have to tell us.
To expand this season.
Yeah,
Well,
we
the
should
season
just
is all the
expand the season
Okay.
and then they can
The
just,
reason not to do that is because of things available to them. I didn't, I put in my hand markup, I didn't make it to here for some reason. When they operate in the operational period, things will be available to them, like the porta potty will be there, the picnic tables will be there, and that sort of thing. When they're outside of that, they can operate, but there's no promise of those things being available.
Are we providing porta potties?
So, in last year, the board did vote to, provide porta potties midway through the season.
Only a single one.
Only one porta potty.
one
So-
handicap.
Yeah,
porta
so that could be a decision of the board. You can amend the policy to say that. It's, I think, if you want to provide, if you want the town to have obligations under this policy, such as providing porta potties, we can amend it. Otherwise, we can do it as a courtesy if funds are available, or however the board would like to handle that.
Why do we have to pay for the porta potties, you know?
That's
So
a-
they are- Yeah,
I think we 100% should supply the porta potty. That's my thought. They're paying us a fee, and that's to maintain the property for them, but they take their rubbish away?
They take their rubbish
Okay,
away.
so it's just to mow it and keep it nice, so I think we should we should supply the porta potty, part of that $2,500
The
fee.
only other commitment we have is J. The town will provide a minimum of 2 picnic tables at the location. Vendor is responsible for providing the trash can. So I would just, all I was trying to do was strip us of our responsibility to have anything there. Because if it's just a warm day and they want to go out, I mean, I don't want to have anybody scramble to get a picnic table there. They can go and they just have to deal with it, you know?
I understand what your point is, yes.
Okay.
I get what he's saying.
So, okay.
so do you think we will
I don't
revise
know,
and come
what are
back?
we changing it to? I don't know.
I think that the board should deliberate
That's what I'm
yeah,
asking. What
yeah.
do you want it to change to? You want it all that wording or just expand the hours? I don't
Well, the
know.
only reason not to just expand the hours is because I'd have to have it plowed, have the picnic tables there, have the porta potty all year round, because I think the porta potty's gonna freeze. I don't know if they're gonna wanna do that.
And also, how much we'll be paying it for the monthly fees?
For the porta potty? Last year, the cost was $100.
It
A month.
changed- It's changed companies since.
Oh,
then.
it has changed companies since then?
Yes.
Isn't it a parks, like, whole deal?
Nope.
No, I mean, maybe not for this one, but doesn't the parks have a deal where they get like this group deal on porta potties for all the fields?
I'd have to talk to somebody in the Parks Commission about that.
If they do, I mean, I think it's a better deal than just renting one, you know? And for some reason, I was in a Parks Committee meeting, I think that they also get a deal, they get all handicaps or something like that, they're all the big ones instead of some
Yeah,
littles and big.
that's under the jurisdiction of the Parks Commission, so I
My
have to
only
ask them.
question is, why we have to supply a porta potties? Maybe he can go, if he wants, that's his, or we should charge him extra for the.
We are
porta-
charging them. There's a $2,500 fee.
Yeah, but he was paying $6,000 earlier.
But now it's 5,000 between two of them.
Yeah.
5,000 between two.
Yeah, but
And he was
the other-
also paying for a porta potty himself.
He was.
He was getting a second one for just his workers.
Yeah, my view is,
It's
we
really the
shouldn't be-
decision
the
of the
town should
board.
not be paying for porta potties, that's my thing. But if the board,
Is it a Board of Health thing?
Nope.
Places of eating have to have a bathroom?
No, it's a
And,
mobile food concession, so,
And also if we extend the period from beyond April to November, so that's going to be an additional money for
No.
us.
He just said that, his wording says that that's when we supply all the stuff between April and November. But if you open before that or after that, be
We are
prepared,
not
that
supplying.
stuff may not be there.
And we don't get more money.
Okay.
It's all under the original 2,500.
Okay, so is it,
That was
can
my
we,
only thing.
can we make corrections and we'll bring it back again, or are we ready to vote today?
I have more stuff to change.
You have anything to say, Christina? You are on mute.
I know that we voted on having a porta potty, because he had paid for one for his workers and he was locking it. My concern about the other porta potties that have been flipped over or vandalized, I don't know why we're supplying one. I don't think we should. If anything, we should discount what he's paying if that's the biggest concern here. I don't think we should provide one there. And they're not there all the time. So their trucks leave at times, so we're just having one there. Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, but they do lock it. When they leave, they do lock it.
But
So
they
not
don't
for the,
anymore. It's now ours. It's open 24/7. It's no longer locked, the one that we paid for.
is it locked or it's just open?
I have no knowledge.
No idea, I
Is
don't
that what they
know.
do at the parks? They're just always open
Yes,
at the fields?
yes.
Yeah, the fields don't lock, but the one they had, they locked when it was theirs. The one that's there now is not locked because it's not theirs and they're not paying for it. I don't understand why this seems to be like a big discussion item.
Okay,
What's the discussion? Whether they pay for it or us?
Yeah,
What-
or your questions on if they pay for it or not, and it seems to be a discussion. I think we should just vote if we want to pay for it or not with the board, so that we can move on to another topic.
I mean, I don't know, what's your idea? I would say we don't have to pay for it, I mean, we can make them pay for it.
You can't say that, we have to vote on it, is what I'm saying to you, so it keeps going around in circles, so
That-
let's.
Well, I don't think that's gonna be, is this gonna be in the, are
if,
we gonna put this in the agreement?
if the town is going to provide porta potties as part of this, then it would need to be incorporated into the policy. If the town wants to provide porta potties kind of more at will, as a convenience, if funds allow, and it's not a guarantee, then it doesn't need to be part of this. But if it's a guarantee that the town is going to provide porta potties, it should be incorporated as town obligations under this
Then
policy.
let's not commit, but do we want to have them make sure that there's a porta potty? Like if we
yeah, but
don't
we
do it,
can,
then they have to
yeah,
pay
but
for
we
it.
cannot force them. Right, we cannot force them, yeah. We cannot ask them to.
We could.
He has to
You
have
can
the
require
porta
them
potty.
We
to.
ask them to do other things, like empty the trash, we could tell them they have to have a porta potty.
You can have an
I don't
obligation.
care on the porta potty, I mean, I don't know, we can put it in or not, I just, we have to decide.
Okay. So, go ahead.
We're charging them a fee.
Correct.
The fee needs to go towards something.
It's the use of,
I
it's
know,
the use
I
of
know
the
it's far,
triangle.
but
Yep.
we have to do, we can't just charge $10,000 for this and only spend $1,000 a year on maintaining it. Fees have to kind of be compared
It's for
to,
the picnic tables then.
well,
Agree, at the same
Yeah,
time, it does.
it goes
to
into the economic development
Yeah, and
task
also
force
it goes to
funds.
the town
Yep.
I know where
for
it
other
goes.
uses, yeah.
Okay, whatever.
I would, I'm mostly leaning towards either increase it to 2,600.
That only covers 1 month.
Go up $200 and then
No.
pay 12, it's only April,
Yeah.
May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So it's about $800, maybe maybe 900, maybe less, I don't know.
It could be a couple $100 a month.
Well, this is all we're guessing.
I see I don't know if the DPW director is on the Zoom for another item, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if he has possibly current rates of porta potties.
He's raising his hand, I think.
Kevin? Yeah, do you have add on anything?
I don't have the exact prices of the porta potties on hand. I wasn't expecting to be talking that. I do think that it is under $100 what we're paying for other facilities.
Yeah,
That was my
And
understanding
you
also.
also, you pay for the rental and you pay for generally a weekly cleaning.
April, May, June.
But to back what Christina was saying, no, there's no locking that the town is doing of the porta potties that are there, so they are accessible to the general public even during off hours.
Yeah, but we don't have to have a porta potty at that location, right, after hours. There is no reason for us, you know, outside of business, outside of the truck, nobody should be, there is no need. The town's, go ahead, Christina.
Through the chair, so Kevin, I'm just thinking, this might be a good example for the board. Before I left town, I drove by Woodland, and I'm guessing some kids tipped over the porta potty at Woodland, because it was on its side. And the first thing I thought was, this is exactly why I don't want porta potties at the Triangle near a food truck, because if it gets tipped over one night, are we gonna be able to get service there to clean it up within hours of them opening their business, or are they gonna be sitting there with waste on the ground, and then who do they call? Because we're paying to that spot. And now there's a porta potty tipped over, and really that would be our responsibility. We would wind up stuck having to either go there, pick it up, or call them and say, hey, they'll be out in a few days to clean it up. I don't know how it works now, Kevin, but that's kind of where we would be stuck, even at the fields, right? We don't go pick it up or do anything like that.
No, we don't have the disinfectant, we don't have the.
We call the
correct
company.
products to properly sanitize
Okay,
that situation.
So
Okay.
it would just be a call to whoever it is
It's a service call for
Yeah.
them.
Should we, if this is the case, should we prohibit them? Like, even if they want to have one, should we prohibit them from having a porta potty?
no, but if he has it, it's his responsibility, and if
Right.
something goes wrong, he will fix it.
So,
Okay, so that's why.
It's his money. Go ahead.
So we're saying there's two there. What if one thinks we should have a porta potty and the other one doesn't? Are we gonna put in the agreement that you must, between each other, on top of your $2,500, also pay for a porta potty? I mean, I don't know how we're wording this.
so,
What if one does it, the other guy's gonna be able to
Right,
use
so-
it, so.
so I don't know that Mr. Frieden had the background on this, so just.
I had nothing
Yeah,
to even
so-
do with porta potties,
so-
except mention they wouldn't be there.
One of the vendors pulls their truck, one of the vendors drives their truck. So the vendor that drives their truck put a porta potty so that they had a place to use the restroom. And then residents or customers started requesting use of it, which is how this came into being. But to Mr. Rucco's question, I don't think that we can ask them to pay for the porta potty and split it between them. I think the town can make the choice to either pay for the porta potty and have it part of this policy, that it's an obligation of the town to provide a porta potty through the April 1st through November 30th period, or the town doesn't put it as part of the policy. If we do it, we do it. If we don't, we don't. And then the individual vendors can procure one on their own if they are so inclined.
I think that's the way we should go. I think we should not, we should leave it
Okay,
as is
so-
with no porta potty mentioned.
I think, there is definitely a disagreement. Can we take a vote on that? In that
If
case?
it's not in the agreement, then it's not.
Wait, are we? is
Are
there
we
a
going to
motion right
revise
now?
do you want to revise this thing and bring it back? Maybe we can table it this for the time being?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any sense of where the board is on this particular issue to make that revision.
Go ahead.
Through you, Raj, I would like, if this would go either way, but I would like to make a motion not to pay for the porta potties in that location.
Okay, yeah, no, we have motion is,
So-
So that's just sort of a piece
So
of the.
make a motion, the motion would be to pay,
I want it.
no, to pay for it.
Or to not.
No, the motion would be to pay for it, and then you vote it down. No,
No, you can't do that, because then the motion isn't there.
I get what you're saying, Matt, hold on, let me reconsider, because it's currently not in there now, right?
Right,
right.
correct.
Now,
Good motion to prohibit porta potties.
no, you cannot make a
No.
You,
negative motion.
I'm gonna make my motion because it doesn't make sense. I'm trying to think through the wording on this one. If it's not in there, I don't wanna add it.
Well, you can just leave it at that, and we just won't add it.
I'm okay with that, but is that gonna incur another 15 minutes of this conversation?
I have at least another 15 minutes of this conversation.
Okay, well, Mark, go ahead, keep going.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Next one is, there's no clear definition of the authority or what they call town. Like, in the first sentence, the annually in January, the select board or their designee will announce. So we have select board or designee there, and then in other places, we have something that says, in number 1, the town of West Boylston or its representative herein referred to as town. So we never really get to who their point of contact is. So I think we have to define that in the document someplace. Like, I was gonna say town administrator or designee. Just so there's one person to talk to.
Mark, do you have more corrections?
Yeah, so there's that one, then the town, and I just had a question about Board of Health. Does the Board of Health currently have anything to do with food trucks? Have we done anything before?
Yes.
Okay.
Are they licensed?
Then in number 5, the one that says vendors shall provide all required utilities, e.g. electrical and water necessary for food service, blah, 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 blah. The last sentence says vendor shall coordinate such services and establish an account with the municipal light department or the town of West Boylston. I was gonna add as needed, just in case they run a generator or batteries or something and they don't need to plug into the municipal light plant.
They are plugging into
Yeah.
the municipal light plant.
And
There
they
is
pay
a
that
outlet.
bill. That bill.
No, they can pay the bill, but I just even if they don't use the power, do they have to establish an account?
I don't think that you would want them using
Use
generators.
the power, that's why
Yeah.
we put it there. They can't use
Okay, so
generators.
Take out as needed. Okay, so not that. Okay, then we've already talked about number 7, the operational period being to people like the January 15th to January 15th is where the license runs and they can come in anytime outside of the operational period. They just gotta do something, maybe tell us, maybe not.
Town administrator?
Mr. Chairman, I think that we really want, I understand that sometimes the shoulder season, we want some flexibility around the shoulder season, and that's great. But really during the height of the winter, I don't think we want the area used.
How about in March?
Right, so-
Things happened last time.
Right, I think March, if you want to amend March 1st to November 30th, and just have that be the season, I think I don't want to get into the situation where there's issues at the site because of snow and ice, whether it's somebody slipping and falling because it wasn't cleared.
You know, that's why there was that operational period, so that if they're outside of operational period, it's on them to figure this out. And if it's not plowed out, they can't do it, you know?
Yeah, but sometimes, if they go open up, it's going to be the town's responsibility. They don't care. So let's fix a time, maybe we can go March 1st and then see, yeah. Let's change it to March 1st.
And what about like on the Christmas Day or Thanksgiving Day, if it's a nice day, they can't do it?
No.
Oh, I guess November 30th, they can do
Well,
Thanksgiving.
I think you are pushing too much, Mark, on this. Okay.
Or add a one-day thing, where they can ask for a one day and we say yes or no?
I think it's getting, that would administrative burden on just, so I want to be mindful that this is a license to use town's facilities. This isn't to enhance a private business operation and to make it as convenient and as profitable as possible for these businesses. So it's to utilize the town property. This is a great tourist site in town. Lots of people enjoy the stone church and come there, fishers, picnickers. But it's not really to make this as open-ended as possible for the vendors, in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, I was just gonna cover nice days. if there was a nice day, like when we had a good Christmas day, or we had another nice day, it could be open, and the motorcycle gang comes cruising through, has a place to stop and eat.
Again, you know, as the town administrator said, it's going to be a, you know, administrative headache.
Okay? But not for me.
Yes, agree.
Okay.
It's still in the board.
So I think I just asked the Parks chairman, and he thinks it's $70 for a porta potty this year.
Okay.
So that's, so that's
So-
100, 200.
It's
We
still
should
out,
go with
Christine,
whatever,
it's still out.
whatever the agreement the Parks have, we should just hook onto that, because it is.
Do you want to agree on March 1st?
So let's, the porta potties will go back. Okay. So
No,
Chris,
what?
go ahead.
No, porta potties are still out, right, Christina?
No, we didn't make a motion.
I don't run the board.
We didn't have a motion yet. They didn't, go ahead with your, all the comments, Mark.
If in its sole judgment, the town determines that the vendor is not meeting the terms and conditions of the agreement, the town may terminate the agreement within I added with a 7-day notice. This is another one where we have to redefine town, because can just anybody in town decide that they're kicked out? Right? I still think that should be TA. And then I added to that, termination of a vendor license must be acknowledged in the minutes of the subsequent Board of Selectmen meeting with details of termination, otherwise I don't know if we would even know that. Okay, perfect.
Are you,
He's, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Frieden has provided me his markup document via email.
okay.
Then the
So
next
I think,
one-
you know, we have many corrections. Would you like to, can we,
Can I
okay,
just
go
read in
ahead
front
with
of
all
you?
the corrections.
Number
Then-
10, vendor shall not assign or sublease any portion of the license agreement, license service. I added to that, just to say vendor is allowed to have a temporary, less than 1 week substitute person or truck that meets all the regulatory requirements in case like their truck gets run over or they go on vacation.
So,
No.
through the chair, that is not something we should do, and that means any truck could pull up in this place. That's not what this policy's for. So if their truck is broken, they can't come in with a different food truck, how would we ever manage that? Through the chair, some of these changes seem pretty outside the scope of even a food permit that we do anywhere else in town, and I'm confused by the back and forth. If we had set limits and we want to increase it, that's fine, but now we're talking about subletting that, or them saying, oh. our
No,
truck's
it just,
50
you know, so Mark is just expressing his view, but,
Oh, no,
you know, we
that's-
don't have to take it.
That was just an
don't
edit
have to,
to
yeah.
a line that was in the thing that we were looking at.
Right, but that edit is, it says another food truck gun there, I'm concerned on the edits being made, they don't make sense on even what we would allow for a food truck, because Mark, if we did that, then are you gonna go find the Board of Health and have them go to that food truck and make sure it's up to par? Like, some of these just doesn't make sense.
My reason for this is because at a previous occupation, we had a food truck that would come to visit us, and he would, if he had to get his truck repaired, there was apparently another food truck guy that all he does is cover vacations and damages. So he would say, can you cover my route for a week, or can you cover my route, whatever? So
Yeah.
then that guy would come in, he would tell us, say, no, I'm not coming, this guy's coming, you know him, because he comes every year when he's on vacation. And I was
Yes,
just trying to
but
accommodate that.
But that is a private business, you know, or a company, but this is the town. We need to follow the rules and regulations better than, and also we have to answer the Board of Health. Board
Oh,
of
the other
Health.
truck was a Board of Health certified truck.
Yeah.
It was ready. I mean, it
So,
wasn't a,
let's keep these wordings as such. That's
okay,
my view.
then I also did the. Oh, I had a question about G. All vendors must operate a licensed facility with hand washing. If you don't have it, you are restricted to the preparation and service of frankfurters and non-potentially hazardous foods. Where did that come from?
So this was language directly from the original RFP. The licensed fixed facility base of operations is not the food truck. That is if they're prepping off-site. I'm assuming, but I can research further, that this is from health regulations.
It's just that hot dogs are easy to keep sterile or something, I don't know. And that's just a comment that seems like out of nowhere.
Okay, go ahead.
If I could, I think everything to do with the Board of Health, I don't think should be in our agreement. I mean, the Board of Health should, before they give the license, they're the person that certified serve-safe employees. That's the Board of Health. What if we're going, in our agreement, above the Board of Health's regulations? I think all Board of Health, that they license this truck, should not be in our agreement. It should just say they must get
Licensure?
the necessary
It does say.
approval from the Board of Health, and then take everything that should be serve-safe, allergy, all that should be under the Board of Health's regulations, not our agreement with them. Should be just like a business. We wouldn't tell the business what they do once we give them their license.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
that should be the same
I
here.
mean, that's already fully on in number 3. Vendors shall obtain all necessary state and local permits and licenses. Vendors shall meet all requirements of West Boylston, Select Board, Health Agent, Board of Health, including but not limited to vehicles.
So
I mean, it's
everything
already
that
there.
says after that sentence, after number 2, everything in the agreement that says you must have serve-safe, you must do this, you must do that, should be taken out. They just have to follow that number 2, I think.
So maybe you can run over all the other comments quickly.
Vendors won't put it in. Okay, so on I had done that thing again with another truck, a temporary, less than 1 week substitute truck, in case they were broken.
No.
But we'll take that out. I added one, equipment to wipe down picnic tables shall be available upon request, which was because nobody's responsible for the picnic tables to keep them clean, and I was just trying to make them have a rag handy so that if somebody walked over,
The trucks keep them clean, I think.
it's not required.
It's in the
It's-
best interest of their business.
Okay, so no
We
one.
don't have to do that.
Oh, okay, and then in 14, it says the town shall have the right to revoke or not renew the concessions permit for food vendor or reasonable cause, because in an earlier one, it automatically renews. Oh, okay, yeah. The food truck picnic area will be given preference, Wachusett Reservoir picnic area will be given preference over new applicants unless the town has, so I added, unless the town has exercised rights under terms and condition number 14, and just will not renew them. So you don't actually have to revoke it if it's up for renewal anyways. You can just not renew.
I think the revocation period is about something that happens during the season.
You have 7 days. Yeah,
Okay.
but I was just giving us the opportunity to not renew them too, if for whatever reason you didn't find out about it during the season, you found out about it later, like something was horrible, and you just decide, okay,
I
we didn't
understand,
get
yep.
them then, can we not renew them because of whatever reason?
So not giving not giving a preference to those that you would have otherwise revoked.
Yes,
Okay. That's all?
that's all.
Okay. It seems like there are too many corrections.
So,
Maybe, yeah, too many corrections and the
So-
policy is not clear,
So-
at least.
so, Mr. Chairman, I disagree that they're corrections. I think that they're changes.
Changes.
However, I am happy to make some revisions. I hear clarification of the authority of who. In my opinion, it should be the Select Board if there's going to be a revocation or,
The only problem with that is a 7-day thing, we might not be available for a 7-day revocation.
I think that this is the Select Board's license, and the Select Board has the authority to revoke it, so I would want that decision to stay with the Select Board. There could always be an emergency meeting if the situation warranted, although I don't think it would. I'm hearing March 1st as the season. I do not have clarity from the board about amendments outside of the March 1st to November 30th period. I just,
Let's just make it that.
okay,
Okay. Okay, Chris?
and the removal of the Board of Health.
Oh, anything,
Parameters.
right. The other thing is, the applicants, this is a Board of Selectmen license, and we control it.
Correct.
Why does the Economic Development Task Force have a random drawing?
It's the same way as the gateway.
I know, but this isn't
Sign.
the gateway, this is entirely different, the gateway is the economic development. I think it should just be, the board can pick what group they want. I mean, they can look at the application and they can say, we think this is the best fit for town. I don't want to automatically make it a random.
You don't want to make it a random drawing, you
Right,
want to choose.
because what if we pick 2 trucks that only sell hot dogs? Our main goal was to have 2 different trucks.
Now you're back into more of an RFP process where you're evaluating the qualities of the applicants.
Well, but I just don't want to, if they both sell the same thing, that was our main goal was to have 2 trucks there that sell something different. If they both have hot dogs and hamburgers, all they're doing is taking from each other. These 2 that are there now, they both sell different things. So if it goes random, we could get stuck with 2 hot dog trucks, 2 ice cream trucks, 2.
So what you are talking about, I don't know how to make that into a policy and application for a license. That's a preference, which would be back under the RFP process, which I was hearing folks
But,
didn't want to do the RFP process, which is why I came up with this.
I think, the last time, the select board chose the vendor.
It was an RFP process. And under an RFP process, for those in the public who don't understand, that's where you are going through various qualifications and criteria for applicants. Under this, moving away from the RFP process, if there's not renewals, it's do you meet the minimum standards of a qualified new applicant, and then whoever is the luck of the draw is the luck of the draw. Otherwise, if we're really evaluating that we want chicken, barbecue, and hot dogs, we're back to an RFP process.
I don't know how we have to do it.
So that would be an RFP process, which the feedback
if we
from
can-
the vendors,
I don't know if we can put it in the agreement that we want 2 different trucks. It'd be useless if they're both the same, they sell the same things. It would be, out of the scope of that, we wanted it over there. We want 2 different vendors. That's why we went to 2. So I don't know how you have to fix it.
Go ahead, Christina.
So, based on that, I think it needs to stay in RFP, because I would get concerned if we had, say, 4 vendors with 2 spots, and now you have hot dog, Chinese food, someone that wants to do Thai food. How are we gonna do that if you're not gonna do an RFP process? And I did hear strongly you guys didn't wanna do that, but we now seem to be going in complete circles on what we wanna do with this.
I did hear feedback from the vendors, and I looked back in emails from when the RFP was being advertised. They did not like the RFP process. It was overly cumbersome, it had a lot of requirements, it was, I think, 14 pages long, and there was a difficulty in getting the second licensee to the site.
Okay.
Can we make it there's 1 licensing day, so you have to have all your applications in, and we just only give out 2 licenses, and we pick who we're gonna give the licenses to, based on their food?
I can talk to legal counsel, but again, I think it's an RFP process that you're talking about, where you're evaluating the qualifications of the bidder. That's an RFP.
Then I would ask that you talk to town council and ask that if that's the only way we can do what we wanna do.
Okay.
Okay.
If that's the
Thank
way.
you. In that case, let's bring back this, let's continue the public hearing, and then we'll bring it back to the next board meeting.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I would ask that you continue the public hearing.
Hold on,
To-
can we get 1 comments from the public?
I just
Yeah.
have a question. Last year, both these vendors had specific times and specific days to be here. And then this year, they asked that, the time is okay, but the days, it's not gonna. How will the public know when the trucks are gonna be there if they don't have, what kind of an agreement do we have with Grumpy's? I mean, Grumpy's is there, Wednesday through Sunday. Does the town have an agreement with them?
It's on private
Private
property.
Okay.
He can open and close whenever he wants. There was another one
But, okay, so how would residents know when these 2 trucks are gonna, if they don't have a specific day, they have a time, but not a specific day, how will people know?
So we have no control over that. We have no control over that. We have no control over that. They came in, So they asked for the vendor truck license, that's all we gave. I'm not sure, Grumpy's, how the license was issued. Maybe we will take a look at it, yes?
No, the license, we've given them a license, but that's a private property, they can,
They can open
Do what they
anytime,
want.
any day. But what about the license that the other,
Also private.
they
Yeah.
can come and go as they please, just like any business license we give, they can, we don't set what times they open, and it's up to, I guess, my answer to Mr. Femia would be, it's up to them to let people know, maybe they go on Facebook. It's up to them, they want people to know that they're not open, so,
okay,
Sorry.
yeah, so, I mean, I, just again, like, even if sandwich shop in town, we can't tell them they have to be opened every day from 10 to 5 or whatever, I mean.
okay. Thank you, and let's continue the meetings for.
I would
next
just
step.
ask that it not be at the next meeting, that we continue this to May 17th or June 7th.
May 17th.
And this, they're all set, they can open though, right? With or without this
Yes,
thing?
Without
yes,
this,
they're
this,
operational. They're both operational.
That's-
Thank you. Do I need a motion for that? No.
We didn't do anything.
Thank you.
What do we say, May, what?
17th.
May 17th. Okay, public hearing on the food truck is done. New business. Consider approving letter as suggested by MMA to the CCC. Town administrator?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you have a draft of the letter in your packets. It's basically using the template from the MMA. As the board is aware, the laws surrounding community host agreements for cannabis companies changed recently, and the Cannabis Control Commission is undergoing the rulemaking process at this time. The legislation was not specific to what was happening, what would happen to host community agreements that towns had already entered. The Massachusetts Municipal Association is strongly suggesting that communities voice their support for not looking retroactively at these host community agreements when the regulations are drafted, and that's essentially what this letter says.
Any questions?
So move to,
Yeah, a second.
Is there any questions? No? You have?
motion is,
Okay. Is there a motion to send this?
we already did, motion is second.
We have motion, we have
I did
motion.
motion, I did
Okay, we have motion and second. Roll call, Christina,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
myself, yes.
Actually, I have one more question.
Most, on this?
Yeah. For procedurally, are you gonna send out one letter with all of our signatures?
Yes, you
Or
have
should
it.
we each send one out?
No, you have it in your packet to sign.
Okay. Motion carries.
Over to Tim.
Consider accepting North Main Street sidewalk improvements bid recommended by the DPW director and authorizing town administrator to execute any agreements or contract that follows. Kevin?
Good evening. Yeah, so we had a bid opening last week, on Friday for the reconstruction of sidewalks on North Main Street. The funding for this is through a state earmark that we were given through the state. Lazaro was the low bid of $275,985. They had all the requirements of the bid application submitted, and they are on the Mass pre-qualification list to execute this work. So I do recommend that we move forward with this project and that you authorize Jen to sign that contract.
So moved?
We have a motion. Is a second. To authorize Lazaro Paving Corporation to do the work on the sidewalk project on North Main Street.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any further discussion?
Just for clarification, is the motion to allow you to go into,
To
Execute
execute
a
the
contract.
contract.
yeah, so
And
that's
also
the motion.
Accept the Lazaro
With
Paving
Lazo,
Corporation.
with Lazo.
Lazaro.
Because in case, I don't want to say we're gonna go with them, she might sit with them and then might say, well, we're not gonna sign the contract, we will, so we're just gonna say it's up to the town administrator to negotiate and sign a contract with Lazo Paving.
Yep, okay. Dave,
How much sidewalk are they doing?
that's the question. Kevin,
Yes,
how many miles or how big the sidewalks project is?
75.
they will be doing an asphalt sidewalk from the DCR access drive, the DCR lot access drive, to where the asphalt current sidewalk currently ends on North Main Street. I believe it's number 121 North Main Street. And then they will be replacing the concrete sidewalk that is from number 136 to the town line.
Okay,
So we don't know the answer of how much. Is it a quarter of a mile? Is it 100 feet? You don't know that answer, correct?
I don't know the exact length.
Okay.
he knows,
I
fine,
was asked to
fine,
come here at around 3:15 this afternoon.
okay. And when are they planning to do the work? Do you have any idea on that?
As bid, we did require the work be done by June 30th, as a significant portion of our funding is from the state earmark, and we'll also be utilizing the leftover in our RAP funding. So, someone from Lazaro was in today, just because they've been notified that they were the low bidder. They were gonna take another look at the job and just start getting their planning together, and they indicated no issue whatsoever with having the work completed by June 30th.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Is there any further questions? If not,
Oh, I do have a question.
go ahead.
On the funding, how is it going? Is it out of his budget already?
No, so there's a legislative earmark for a portion of it that needs to be expended by June 30th, as he stated. There's RAP funding, the Winter Recovery Assistance Program.
Yes.
Excellent. So there's funding there, and then Chapter 90 funds. The majority of the funding, over 50% of it is coming from the earmark.
And of that funding, is it any of it our vote, and do we need all four of us to do it to make it pass?
Nope.
Okay. Then,
Okay.
okay, no question.
Thank you. Is there any other questions? Hearing none. Christina?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Myself, yes. Motion carries. Consider approving town meeting mailer.
Do we have it?
Yes, this was an add-on to the agenda, and I sent it to you via email today. You printed out all of them?
It's the last page?
There you go.
Yeah, they have it.
Okay. So it's similar to the town meeting mailer that was done in the fall. I actually reviewed the public participation policy in town meeting under the select board policies, and there was specific language there that hadn't been included in the past, so I did add that language, and that's in the first paragraph verbatim about participation in town meeting, and it's to the need to get a majority of residents to reflect the community, not just the select few or special interest groups. That language is directly from your policy. The item, kind of goes into the next item, is advertising the location as the West Boylston Senior Center and requesting folks to carpool if possible. And then stating that the select board, and there's an anticipation that the vote will occur on May 3rd, and once approved, the warrant will be posted to the town website. The important dates included were the dates of the town meeting, the annual town election, and then we get a number of questions in our office about this, so the Laurel Street yard waste recycling schedule. On the back, you'll see information about stormwater. The town meeting mailer is used as a way to simultaneously meet some of the requirements of the MS4 permit by just providing some resident information. So that is what is on the back there.
So the big question here is, do we need to get the board's approval to change the location of the town meeting?
Yes,
So
and that's
I
your
do-
next.
I do
yeah.
need to have an explanation why we are changing it from the high school to the senior center.
Sure, so
So
that.
maybe you could explain a
Sure, that's
bit more.
we'll combine these two agenda items because they really do go hand in hand. So as folks are aware, the town meeting has historically been held in the high school auditorium. There were concerns raised about the accessibility of that site, as evidenced in the self-evaluation plan. The senior center, although there are some minor issues, is much more compliant. Folks know we just had a meeting there about the park that had over 150 residents in attendance. That room, the main room, does hold 200 persons. The one issue that I'm working out with our cable access team is how to have a overflow room down the hall to make that work for an additional 30 people, should there be a very high turnout. But I think, looking back, turnouts are typically hovering right around 100. There might be some items that generate some more interest this year, but I think the biggest issue that we are going to have with the location is indeed the parking. There are 72 parking spaces there, and so obviously if everybody drives their own vehicle, we're gonna have a parking problem. I am exploring the options of possibly providing a shuttle. I don't know how many folks would be interested in not having their vehicle with them, but it's a difficult situation. There's not a lot of spaces in town that we own that are large enough to hold the number of folks that would be in attendance at town meeting.
Can we get any kind of approval to have it at the school?
No.
You can't get any waiver or...
So to be compliant to have it at the school, there are two options that we could do. One is that we have a hybrid meeting, so we would have it at the school, and then folks who require an accommodation are participating remotely. I have talked to people who have done this, and they said it's logistically extremely difficult, especially if there is a secret ballot. So that is not the recommended alternative.
So, can I ask you one question? When you
Can she
say,
finish- Can she finish with
Yeah.
my question?
go ahead.
Thank you. So the other option is that the meeting is held in two locations. So we would have the main meeting at the auditorium in the high school, and then a secondary location at a location such as this or the senior center. Again, a logistical difficulty. I will say that in talking to Mike Edwards at the Collins Center recently about our ADA transition plan, he brought up that the Mass Office of Disability is currently looking at the issues that towns face with town meetings. West Boylston's not unique in this, okay? A lot of folks have meetings in older high school auditoriums. And the Mass Office of Disability is looking for towns to partner with for a pilot project of how to incorporate the technology to make it more feasible to have it in two locations. I said, if they're looking for a pilot partner, I'm raising my hand, choose West Boylston, please. But in talking to Emmanuel yesterday from Cable Access, it would be somewhat more difficult, technologically speaking, to have it with the equipment we currently own, to have it in the two dual locations. Either way, if we have an overflow room, we'll have to have a deputy moderator and staff in that room. If we move the location from the senior center, we're going to have somebody at the high school, because there are people who, in their mind, they just know town meeting is on a Monday and they're going to the auditorium.
So is the school is not handicap accessible?
So there are issues that were identified in the ADA transition plan, from parking, slopes into the building. It's a lot of dealing with the slopes. So the slopes getting from your car to the front door, from the front door to the auditorium, and then into the auditorium.
So the school is not so my question,
Yes.
the school is not handicap accessible?
It is not ADA
ADA.
compliant. I'll say it like that. It's not ADA compliant.
So the school can stay as a school and have a school, but we can't have town meeting there?
Well, I think the school is dealing with this separately. They are the school is definitely looking at their access issues as well. Here's the risk. So the risk is that we hold town meeting at the auditorium. Previously, there was an open meeting law violation that was filed about it. It wasn't an open meeting law violation because town meeting is not subject to the open meeting law. However, somebody could file an ADA complaint that we held town meeting in a location that was not accessible, not under the vehicle of the open meeting law complaint, but as an ADA complaint. Will they? I don't know.
Have we discussed this with town council?
So I have not discussed this with town council. There is lots of documents online at the state level saying that town meeting needs to be held in an accessible location.
But it is ADA accessible.
It is not ADA compliant.
So you said an accessible location. It is accessible. Does it say that it must be in a ADA compliant? You're using two different words, so I don't know what the definitions of the two words are. You're saying accessible and compliant. Which one is the state telling us it must be? And which one are
I'm
we?
happy to look into that further.
I think
And-
it's the best bet is to have it at the school. I want to make sure that we can. It's easier, the parking's easier, recording's easier, but I know there's the issue with accessible or compliant. I don't know which one we need to fall under. That's why I asked if town council looked at it.
Town council certainly looked at the issue last year when the open meeting law complaint was filed.
But that's a different kind of an issue, right?
No, it's not.
What was the issue?
It
Did they
was the
talk
same
about the
exact,
ADA?
it was the same exact issue. The open meeting law complaint that was filed was about town meeting being held in a location that was not accessible.
Not accessible.
But not an ADA complaint, right?
It was an open meeting law complaint filed. It wasn't an ADA complaint.
Yeah.
But it
that's what
was
I'm
looking at where was town meeting held.
I guess, I don't know the definitions. I don't know what the state tells us it must be in, an accessible or a compliant.
I'm gonna, if
So I think
you wanna, so there, we don't have a lot of time, so I don't wanna push this over until May 3rd. I'm happy to pull some stuff up online. I'm happy to call Sharon. If the board wants to stand in a 10-minute recess, that's fine. I do think we need either to schedule another meeting next week, perhaps on either side of the FISP meeting, or we need to decide the location tonight. There's just not the luxury of time.
when does this mailing need to go out?
I'm not as concerned about the mailing. I'm concerned
Well,
about.
that's the only thing we're voting on, so
Right,
that's.
no, your next agenda item is consider the location for the annual town meeting.
Okay,
That's
so-
what, so the town meeting warrant needs to be posted. The last day that the town meeting warrant can be posted is May 8th. Okay?
So we have some-
But respectfully, we do not have time because there are logistics that will need to be considered if we're gonna have a meeting that's not in the auditorium.
And what would the town council call be about, is about how to authorize us to be in?
It's to answer Mr. Rucco's question. Or I can
As to-
pull it up online, about the requirements for town meeting.
And whether we can do it at the school?
No.
On the audit.
Accessible or compliant, I don't know. But, so why don't we just have next week, we can have a meeting and then you don't have to do all this right now.
Right, so if
Next
we
week
want to,
we'll have
if we want to have a
meeting.
meeting on either side of the FISP meeting, that's fine. We
Just
can
for
do
this
that then.
issue.
Yep.
And any
Okay.
other issues that might come up from now till then.
Okay. So let's table it for until next meeting. So that goes for the consider location for annual town meeting too. Okay. So next item on the agenda, concurrence on the following April 2023 town administrators annual appointments. Is there a motion to approve?
Can we have discussion first?
Well, I can make
We
a
allow
motion
motion
to
and then a
approve as
second,
printed in the.
as printed in the warrant.
In the agenda.
Is there a motion?
That's so
As
moved.
printed in the agenda. We have a motion. Is there a second? And then we'll go for discussion.
We always do. So there's not a second, I guess.
Is there a second? I will second. Okay. Is there any further discussion? Go ahead, Mark.
The only discussion I have is there anything in here that we should break out so that we can do a slate -1 or something like that, if there's anything we don't like? I mean, I
For
don't.
me,
have-
nothing.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
The town administrator's appointments, I mean, I don't.
I mean, are there any issues or questions or anything? This Femia guy.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor of approving town administrator's annual appointment as printed in the
Roll call.
Agenda.
agenda?
Yep.
Okay. Roll call. Christina?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carries. And
Selectboard,
yeah. Consider approving following 2023 Select Board annual appointment. Bylaw Committee, David Femia, member 1 year. David Mercurio, member 1 year.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
What do we do?
This will say annual appointment, the Select Board appointments. It's a regular
Select board appointments.
Select Board appointment for the Bylaw Committee.
Okay, what do you-
We have a motion.
Oh, second.
Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call. Christina?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carries. Consider signing a proclamation for Quality Barber Studio on the occasion of the ribbon cutting. Town Administrator, you want to say something on that?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. We actually received a special invitation. So a former state representative, Paul Kajowski, came in to inform us that Quality Barber Studio has decided to locate their business in West Boylston. They are having their ribbon cutting at 10 a.m. on this Friday. All the select board members are highly encouraged to attend. I don't think that this is something that the town has necessarily done in the past, or maybe in the recent past, with these proclamations. I just think it's a nice thing if we're aware of new business coming to the community to recognize them. So I'm requesting approval of this proclamation this evening so that it can be presented at the ribbon cutting on Friday.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Wait.
Do you have any discussion on that?
No.
Roll call. Christina?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Mark?
Yeah.
Myself, yes. Motion carries. Consider signing a certificate of appreciation for Sergeant Anthony Papandrea on the occasion of his retirement of 27 years of service to the town of West Boylston.
So moved.
We have a motion and
No, second.
we have a motion and second. Any further discussions?
Have we, does O'Day know about this? So we can do something with the
About,
state?
about this one or the previous one?
This one.
I'm not sure. I'm happy to reach out to him.
Thank you. We have a motion and second. Roll call. Christina?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Myself, yes. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, Town Administrator reports.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd just like to publicly recognize and give kudos to the West Boylston Fire Department. I think most folks are aware that there was a pretty large brush fire this past Friday that burned a total of 36 acres in the Wachusett Reservoir watershed area. And in addition to that large fire, they were responding to a number of events. So I just wanted to publicly thank them for their service, especially during that heat last Friday. A little update on where things are with the state budget. On April 12th, the House Ways and Means Committee released their version of the FY24 budget. Interestingly, what you don't see happen typically, and there's a lot of chatter about this, the unrestricted government aid was reduced, and the Chapter 70 aid was increased. There is a lot of time before the final budget is signed by the governor, but that was just an interesting point to note. Representative O'Day has filed 2 amendments for the town of West Boylston to the budget. He has filed an amendment for $200,000 for Pride Park and an amendment for $125,000 for ADA upgrades to municipal buildings. I would like to publicly thank Representative O'Day for his advocacy, and hopefully at least one, if not both of these, are included in the final version of the budget. We can pass over the next item, because that was on the agenda, about the semi-annual town meeting location. Joint meeting of the Select Board and the Finance Committee to approve the warrant. We were trying to get something together, but due to a lot of conflicts, we're unable to do it as a joint meeting. So actually, now that we have the meeting next Wednesday, it's possible that I ask the Select Board to approve the warrant next Wednesday. Otherwise, it'll be on May 3rd, and then the Finance Committee, I see Mr. Berglund on here on the Zoom, will be meeting separately to make their recommendations. I will share the draft of the warrant with you this week, and if you have any questions about items, I'm encouraging board members to reach out, and we can sit down and have a conversation about them. I've been informed, and this is more to the public, so that they understand the CASTA system, which is how we get our videos, like the video tonight, on demand and online, is not currently allowing new videos to be uploaded. So staff is working with the vendor to try to troubleshoot the system. Not quite sure what's going on right now, but in the meantime, staff is uploading videos to YouTube.
Go ahead. Could that be because our license lapsed?
No, this has nothing to do with the license from Charter.
Okay.
This is, it's believed that it's a software upgrade to Castus that's causing a problem. It has happened in the past. There was also, the equipment overheated a bit, and so there's some replacement parts, but that was not that workaround has been fixed, so, but it has nothing to do with that.
The only thing under our control would be the
Right.
license.
Like I said, the ribbon cutting, the board is invited. This is at Meadowbrook Plaza for Quality Barber Studio this Friday at 10 a.m. The Pride Park playground equipment has been ordered. I want to thank the Select Board for voting for the use of ARPA funds so that this order could take place. Katie Dennis of KMA LLC reviewed the equipment for free prior to the order and confirmed the requirements of the 2010 ADA standards and 521 CMR have been met. The ADA transition plan, I am trying to complete that by the end of this month. I had a meeting with Mike Edwards of the Collins Center, as I said, to discuss these final steps. I have a meeting with department heads tomorrow to have them assist. I want folks to understand that this ADA transition plan is going to take years. It touches every single thing we do. It's not only about building access. It's not only about ramps. It's about how things are posted on the website. It's about how forms look. So it really is going to touch every single thing we do. And we're gonna need a lot of all hands on deck spirit to make that happen. And lastly, for the edification of all of the board members, negotiations with Teamsters Union Local 170 are set to begin on Monday, April 24th. The chairman and Ms. Pedoni will be on the negotiating team as voted by the board.
Thank you. Mark, any questions?
I have questions on a couple of those. The Pride Park thing, it mentions that we are now up to the 2010 requirements. Is that just the most current requirements?
That's the most current requirements.
Okay. And then on that, have we decided that all of the equipment that's in the yard now on that side is scrap?
Yes.
Can we have a scrap guy come and take it all away so that we don't have to do it ourselves or pay for somebody to do it?
Well, I think they would be charged to do it if a scrap guy comes and takes it. I don't know that the metal is gonna be worth that,
Oh,
but
really? Okay, I was thinking that that's what they would do. They'd sell it to make the money back.
we can certainly explore that. In the quotes that you received, it had the company removing the equipment. Hopefully, the DPW is gonna be able to take care of the removal of that equipment over the summer.
To that point, to Mark, there are local guys. They do take the scrap metals,
Well,
so far free.
if any of those local guys are listening, or somebody wants to give me their number, I don't know who those local guys are, so if they run,
I
reach
can,
out, that'd be great.
yeah, I can provide the number, or if not,
Sure,
I can make them give you a call to you.
sure,
So that way, we will save like a
yep,
some $1,000
Yep.
on this.
And is the equipment, like, you know how we just sold a used truck? Could we sell the equipment or give it away to somebody
Liability.
who wants it?
so the equipment is, some of it's unsafe.
Okay.
I would not want to sell it,
Just say it's scrap.
yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna ask if it needs to go on the surplus list, you're saying it does not. Because we put things on the surplus list that are not, that are unsafe. That's not unusual to
Oh.
put, the truck could be unsafe
sell
that
it?
we sell. I mean, I just don't know if it should be on the surplus list to sell,
To
because some of the
sell?
equipment, we just bought extra parts to it.
I will say, I talked to the DPW director about this, and he felt very strongly that we should not sell it, but I'm happy to have that conversation
As
again.
long as we do the right thing, and if we can put it on the surplus list
As
next
is,
time.
no warranty.
I think that's how we sell
Yeah.
everything. We don't think we sell a piece of equipment and say, if you get hurt on this piece of equipment, it's our fault, So whatever we have to do.
Yeah, we sold a truck with no busted engine.
Yeah.
Let's say they couldn't get hurt, it wouldn't even move. I have another one.
Go ahead.
Last one, DPW collective bargaining. Is there any room in that negotiation to get people to be able to work at the Saturday brush dump in a favorable way? I mean, right now, it's a difficulty because it's always overtime.
So negotiations are private. You have two emissaries from the select board who will be on the negotiating team. So you can't really talk to them about it either, because now that would constitute a quorum of the board. And I would just say, anybody that has suggestions for the collective bargaining agreement, if you want to talk to me privately, I'd be happy to have that conversation.
Okay. I think that's it.
Anything else? Future agenda items? You have any other agenda items, Mark?
The only thing I would ask is that, the plaza, I don't know if there's a name of it, the subway, where the subway is, the gentleman that I think recently purchased that did a great job.
The
Can we
new-
put- Yeah, can we put a letter together from the board thanking him?
Sure.
Because he's definitely cleaned it up, so,
It's a huge upgrade.
yeah, so if we can put a letter together thanking him for, welcoming him to town, I think he just purchased it, and then also saying thank you for the work that he's done.
Okay.
That's all.
Any future agenda item?
Yeah, Mark had something.
I don't know if it's a future agenda.
Future agenda item, I have a, notice that this Saturday is cleanup day, so please be careful when you're driving around, there will be a lot of kids helping clean up, and after we will be having lunch from 11 to 12 at Schoolyard, where we will also be doing a textile drive, and a member of the SWAT team will be doing, some educational training, so I hope to see everyone there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I thought Mark had, do you have
I don't know if it's an agenda item.
We have agenda item?
Well,
Go ahead.
this is, when I was reviewing minutes, I noticed that during our time talking about the lip, I wanted the completion of the acceptance of road vote tied to the start of his 40B, or lip. And I would almost make it a policy to, in fact, not associate the votes now and in future, because then the votes could be manipulated to whatever, to not ever let that 40B go by never accepting the road or some other thing. I mean, when I was thinking about it later, it came to me that actually may be dangerous to leave something associated that could be manipulated like that.
So, future agenda?
That's what I mean. I don't know if it's a future agenda item or just something to remember.
Well, I think we are going to be discussing, I think the planning board has been doing work, and we'll be discussing at a future agenda that particular lip, so,
Bring it up then. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
So we have a motion and second. It's not debatable. Roll call, Christina?
Yes.
Chris?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Myself, yes. Being adjourned. Good night.